as long as there's been wars, it's been tough on the families. And it's a real burden for husbands and wives who are left behind, for moms and dads, for kids. It's also tough on people in the community who need them. In small towns, no one's expendable. Everybody's needed. And so when you have someone serving on the other side of the world, you know it, you feel it, you miss them.
He was 19. He just turned 19. He was 18 not long before he decided that that was what he was going to do. And he said, I might be too old. Once he was in the service, he realized there was a lot of guys his age, and that was probably the most common age. But he graduated pretty young. He was 17, and now he's 22. So in 3 years, he's been through boot camp and Iraq twice. So he's done some pretty big things pretty fast.
I'm a tanker, which is a M1A1 Abrams main battle tank. I'm a gunner in the tank, so I make the main gun go off. I control the turret stuff, and just listen to the TC when he tells me what to do. My mom already knew I was going for it, and most of my friends were pretty shocked because, you know, nobody around here does anything like that. I just wanted something different.
Well, I was originally born in a little place called Capitola, Kentucky, which is a little mining camp outside of Middlesboro, Kentucky in Bell County. If you go there today, it's not even there anymore. It was just a little small place, very small. It's gone, but that's where I came from. So after my divorce, my mother passed away along that same time frame too, and it pretty much left me alone. I didn't have any family because, you know, my father was gone, my mother was gone. Didn't have any brothers or sisters. So I was just kind of bouncing from job to job. And then one day a good friend of mine was talking about some stuff, and we decided that we were going to go into the Army together. So when me and my buddy were talking about it, everybody thought we were crazy. So why y'all want to go in for it? I mean, you guys missed the draft. Why would you do that? And of course, you know, we didn't have any directions or anything to do. So we saw it as a chance to start over. And so we both joined the service, and we moved away from Knoxville, and that's kind of what happened to us.
Right now I have those parents that away from here and other mothers of the sons that are actually in the platoon with Jonathan, and kind of stick together. So, yeah. So, because you can get, you know, I would not have met the mothers if I hadn't have had MySpace on there. So when they messaged Jonathan or they saw me on his page, then they added me, and we kind of talked from there. That's how I met them.
A lot of people talk to their husbands or their wives or whoever on webcam a lot. They may have to go back to Afghanistan, and talking to him and communicating with him, whether it's via the internet or via the phone, will not be happening as much because communications are not as advanced over there. So I think that's one thing that has not necessarily made it easier, but we can talk to our son a little bit more than our friends can. The only way they can talk to their friend is through IM, through Instant Messenger. That's the only way they've really been able to communicate because of where their son is.
I did not have any child to serve. And so when it came time for Jimmy to go, I wanted to stay busy and active in something to help me deal with that. And I'll do anything I can to help support him. My grandson says that he likes Gatorade, and he is allowed Gatorade on his base, but it's not quite enough. And I figured that if he likes more Gatorade, then his fellow soldiers would like more as well. And I realized that I would need more help than just what I could get on my own. So I went to my church, and the response I received was overwhelming. And in the month of June, we collected over 600 bottles of Gatorade for the soldiers of the 223rd Military Company.
And were we putting one of these in each one?
One.
And then we're going to give the rest of the chaplain for him to give on the battlefield. I think that's great, Peggy.
Just give one and then let the chaplain have the rest of
Because
it.
I think he's going to need them.
Now this is a man's
Okay.
box here. And this will be ready when we get the candy in it.
Okay, the candy's over here. Here, let's put some of this in there, Peggy.
I need one card.
A card. They're right here.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, I always knew that Jimmy would go a military route. With the war going on, I had hoped that perhaps he would go to college and maybe put it off. But college just wasn't really Jimmy's aptitude. And he talked more and more about a career in the Army or some sort of military career. And then he enlisted or joined the National Guard. And he just wanted to do this. And I asked him to wait, but he felt like he needed to do it. And I was very proud of him. I cried, but I was still very proud of him.
They fill your head with all this stuff of what could happen, what did happen last time, how many people they lost last time, just to make you realize that, you know, when you get over there, there's no more games. It's serious. And you're going through all that before you leave. And then you got to come home and say goodbye to your family, which is by far harder than actually going over there. You don't really know what you got until it gets pulled away from you for that amount of time. And you realize that the next day you wake up might be the last day on the face of this earth. It just makes you appreciate things a lot more. Just little things. Or just watching TV with your girlfriend or your mother or your family or friends. Makes you appreciate it 10 times more than you ever did. Because you know that the next day it might be your last.
I mean, I can listen to the president talk, and I can hear real good facts and know that everything's going to be okay. But as far as just watching the news and clippings of what the bad things that's going on, that's not something that I need to see when, you know, my son's over there. That's the reason that you got all these people asking about, well, look how many guys are getting, you know, killed, and they're just sending them over there for that reason, but that's not true, you know, and I think that is showing the false side of it, because that's not the way that it is. I do wish that they could show the good side, and I think when it gets closer to the end, they will.
It's about to end. It's about to be over. In my view, it's about to be over. The next president comes in, we'll be pulling out soon.
So when you come back, a lot of times you'll say, well, you know, this place has changed a lot. And it's not really what happens. It's not the place that changed. You changed. You know, you saw different perspectives because you were out in the big world. When you get away from your town, you live somewhere else for, say, 2 or 3 years, your values and your views change according to your surroundings, what's going on around you, because you see different things. So when you come back to your town, and if you're from a small towns move slow. But if you were in the military, you get put around big places sometimes. So when you come back, you've changed. The way you look at the people that live around you has changed. You know, the way you think about what your small town really meant to you has changed.
I think that it has, you know, it has really just made us closer, and I also think that he has taught us something during this time about sacrificing. And there's always, and I kind of look at his picture sometimes when I think about that, because I think about how it has helped us, because it kind of makes you kind of want to move up to do better, because sometimes the most rewarding things in life is what we can do for other people.
My 6-year-old grandson is having a real hard time with his cousin being gone, because Jimmy always plays with him and takes him places. These are hard things on families. When you're 6-year-old, you don't understand. And the night that he was to leave, he went out to see Cody and Austin. And Cody said, "Mommy, why does he have to leave? He's just a kid like me. Why do they want him? He's my pal. He plays with me." And then he cried. And that's hard. But every family that's got a child or a loved one there feels the same way.